Yeah, that was my opinion. Anyway, after that, we get to the regular actual pay-per-view. And the first match on the card, which is for the Owen Hart Cup, was Ospreay versus Kevin Knight.
Yeah, I
And
just wanted to say just real quick that for the pay-per-view, most, if not all the matches, okay, no, not all, but most of the matches were the Owen Cup tournament. So if you weren't a fan of that, I guess too bad. It was one or two matches that were like for the actual title and stuff that weren't involved, but it was mostly that.
made that comment earlier that this was just a a B show. Like this whole pay-per-view was like Collision or something, or Rampage or something, you know?
Yeah.
And this should not have been, most of these matches should not have been on this card for a pay-per-view. You should be building up actual storylines to make you want to watch Collision or make you want to watch Dynamite, not some tournament.
Yeah, but the thing is, usually, I guess maybe because, I don't know, they didn't think of it or pay-per-views were too close together. But normally what they do is that they have all tournament matches during Dynamite, Collision, whatever. But then the final match
The final match should be part of a pay-per-view, not the preliminary matches themselves. That's just a waste of spots on the card. And they probably had to put the Owen Hart Cup there because all their doggone wrestlers are all injured.
Yeah, because like instead of Dynasty, they should have just been called the Owen Cup tournament, like pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view. I mean, seriously, it's just But anyway, for this match, Ospreay did beat Kevin Knight. Who didn't expect that? See that coming? Because what are we probably going to get? And this is my prediction. Probably going to end up at some point Fletcher versus Ospreay again.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. This predictability nonsense. But anyway, I'll let you.
Okay, so JR was called in.
Panda, did you want to say anything?
I was gonna say now before you say that, Wendy, don't count Knight out because Knight literally, in a way, is kind of like a protege to Ospreay because I mean he's won the IWGP titles. He was formerly in New Japan. They almost have the same similar fight style. And if you remember that part, he actually, sure, he lost, but he lost strong. He didn't lose to just one move and it was over. He got Styles Clash. There was another reversal move, and it took him pulling out the hidden blade for him to finally get him down. So he didn't finish weak, and that was a banger of a match. It was getting to the point I almost thought Ospreay was about to pull out the Tiger Driver because of how back and forth they were in that match.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I guess after Mark goes over some of this, because I actually really did like this match. This is one of the few matches on the card I really, really liked.
Yeah, good opener.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, some of the notes I got here, William can, of course, add in things here and there. So JR, actually pulled out JR to call this match. It looks like he really enjoyed it. Will went for the Styles Clash, but Kevin reversed it into a DDT onto the floor.
Now, that was weird trying to see that, because it's like we had to, that was just a weird move there, man. It was like...
Yeah. So Will was outside for a good while. He almost lost to a count out. Of course, he got in there in time. Kevin Knight spikes Ospreay with a DDT, and he's still kicked out. Ospreay tries to do another Styles Clash, and Kevin does another DDT. Kevin does a UFO splash off the top rope, hits him, but Ospreay still kicks out of that. So finally, like we said, Ospreay did manage to hit him with the hidden blade, got the pin, and got the win. But still a pretty good match. But
Kevin, I think, has a lot of potential too. But like I said, I just know they probably want to screw it up. Like with everyone else, really.
Yeah. But any additional details or things you want to add in there, Panda? Or any thoughts, Johnny, while Panda comes back?
Well, this whole Kevin Knight thing was very last minute because wasn't it supposed to be who was supposed to be
Jay White. But Jay White got injured.
Yeah, he had injured from his wrist or hand. I forget what it was, but yeah.
But basically because he got injured really bad, they had to put Kevin Knight. But I actually kind of liked Kevin Knight because it kind of made the match a little bit more unpredictable in certain aspects. I mean, of course, Ospreay was going to win the match, but I'm just saying that it's unpredictable in the sense that we were not expecting to see Kevin Knight in this match. And, for me, this is like the first time I've seen Kevin Knight wrestle on a match. So far from what I've seen, I'm pretty impressed. He has a lot of charisma. And I don't know, I kind of like the way he wrestles. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing more matches with Kevin Knight if AEW just the correcting to promote him more, but who knows at this point. But yeah, it was still a decent match, considering the circumstances.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah, if anything, they should do a Ospreay Knight Part 2. Or at some point along the lines, 9 out of 10, they're going to have them tag team. I know they are. But a Part 2 would definitely be a banger if they do it right.
The key word here is if.
If. Yeah, if they do it right. I know Ospreay and Knight will do their parts right. But as far as like hyping it up, getting it set up for a match, that part's questionable. If anything, to me, this match should have been later down the card because it was a really good match. I mean, to start off the pay-per-view, good way of getting people hyped, but honestly, I would have kept that for later on in the card before, like, say, the Kenny Omega match.
I actually really like this match. I like seeing the Kevin Knight stuff. And like I said, the moves that they were doing. I mean, seriously, how do you have like that style class and then reverse that into a DDT? It was just so amazing how flawless they were when they did it. I was like, okay. All right, so now after that match, we had the Hurt Syndicate. And remember, they hurt people. And they were going up against the Learning Tree. And if anybody knows anything about this series, they were going to lose. Because, come on, who realistically can beat the Hurt Syndicate at this point?
Yeah, so pretty much the backstory was that I guess Jericho was getting sick and tired of them losing and everything. So he told him, I guess, to kind of like shape up or whatever, do something, go on their own, prove their worth or whatever. So Brian Keith and Big Bill, they went to challenge the Hurt Syndicate, and at first, MVP was kind of like, yeah, actually win some matches first, then we'll see, and everything. So they did win a couple of matches, and that's how we got to this point here. So just to get real quick, the notes, there wasn't too many notes here, but basically, the Learning Tree kind of held up okay, mostly with Big Bill doing most of the stuff, because poor Brian Keith was a punching bag of the duo. He is like the smallest dude compared to all of them and everything. And yeah, because Benjamin and Lashley are big, muscular motherfuckers. And the thing is that even though Big Bill is taller than Lashley still got more muscle overall.
Mhm.
So surprisingly, sometime near the end of the match, while they were fighting close to where audience is, MJF was actually in the crowd, and he got to sock Lashley with he actually socked no, wait a minute, that makes no. No, yeah, he did. Yeah, he socked Big Bill
but it kind
with
of like
the,
I saw. Yeah, you didn't see it, but I did. So like he was outside the ring, and it was like bam. Then I saw him duck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, ooh.
Yeah, and then so MJF socked Big Bill with the dynamite diamond ring of his, and then he ducked out so the ref wouldn't catch it. And Lashley speared him, and Hurt Syndicate won with Shelton pinning Keith and everything. So they lost that match. Hurt Syndicate, of course, changed the titles. Like we said, at this point of the story, they're very strong and unstoppable. That we couldn't really see these guys being the ones to dethrone them.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Anybody that actually thought that they would win the match was on some serious crack, and that's why everybody went for the Hurt Syndicate. Even though William unfortunately didn't get his prediction in, but I would have assumed you would have chosen the Hurt Syndicate as well.
I would have chosen them too. Yeah. But we'll go into the aftermath after the Jericho match later on there.
Yeah.
But thoughts, William?
Yeah, so far, like MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, that's a pretty big team for you to have, especially, to have them lose against like Keith and Big Cass, let's face it, those two are basically jobbers. I mean, I don't care if they're under Jericho, under Ric Flair, they could be under Sting, they would still just be jobbers. I mean, just big time jobbers. So yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Lashley and Cass, that's just two big men slapping meat. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. But I'm
Mhm.
wondering what I'm as far as their story writing goes, I wonder what their intentions are as far as having MJF interrupt the match and punch Cass with the ring. Now that's something that I'm just kind of like, okay, that's interesting, but where's it gonna lead to? But
Now, one thing is, I'm sorry.
overall, the match was just kind of there.
Yeah.
It just felt like filler.
Yeah, well, that's further the storyline of what's going on. So yeah, Lashley and them, they don't like MJF, and in this last episode of Dynamite, there was like I guess a celebration thing with them celebrating, and MJF just shows up and just kind of poses with them like, yeah, I'm one of you guys, yeah, people, and they were looking at him like, man, what's this fool doing here, and all that. So Bobby and to a lesser extent, Benjamin kind of, I guess he tolerates MJF, but Bobby just flat out hates him and gets in his face and all that kind of stuff. And MVP's trying to keep them calm because he's good for business, man, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's a weird storyline. You know what I mean? Is that they want MJF, but then it's like they don't trust them and whatever. And then like MVP also walked out. He's like, yeah, man, to be part of the Hurt Syndicate, we need 2 thumbs up. So logically, these guys put their thumbs down, and he just walks off. And I'm thinking, but you were the guys that gave him the business card in the first place. You were the guys that kept like bugging him until he joined you guys. So
No,
make
not
that make
exactly.
sense.
That was MVP that was doing that. Bobby
Yeah.
and Shelton just really didn't, they didn't care for him at all. So if anything, I think now that you brought that together, I think later on down the plot line, something's gonna happen. This MJF is gonna pretty much cause the end of the Hurt Syndicate. My
Mm.
words on this.
Oh God. Your thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, personally, I didn't really care too much about this match, and I felt like it was a waste of space for a pay-per-view. Like it should have been some other match. Like I don't think this is not like for a pay-per-view match.